The Reserve Bank has proposed to put in place a framework for responsible conduct in lending. The framework looks to ensure greater transparency in resetting of rates for EMIs based on floating interest rates. So what does this mean and how does it impact borrowers? Ritu Singh joins us to explain.
Well, RBI has proposed to bring in more transparency in resetting of interest rates of EMIs, which are based on floating interest loans. Let me explain. The Reserve Bank of India said that based on its supervisory review, it received feedback from the public which indicated that there are several instances of unreasonable long elongation of tenor of floating rate loans by lenders without any proper consent and communication to the borrowers. Remember, the longer your tenor, the more is your interest outgo, and so you'll end up paying a lot more for your loans, and this especially pinches when you talk about home loans for retail borrowers. Therefore, RBI has proposed that they're going to come out with a framework which is going to ensure that lenders communicate very clearly with borrowers for resetting the tenor or the EMI, and also provide options of switching to a fixed interest rate loan or the foreclosure of loan to borrowers. Now, RBI essentially wants more transparent disclosure of these charges to the borrowers, but that said, it is also not going to define what that tenor of the loan is going to be in the framework. It will leave that commercial decision to banks and their boards. The governor even went to the extent of indicating that there could be instances where an unduly long loan tenor is misused by certain lenders to camouflage stress, because, for example, if the tenor were to be shorter and the EMI payout higher, there could be defaults which can be avoided by elongating the tenor simply. So to avoid all of this, bring in more transparency, expect a new set of guidelines from RBI soon.
This is something which the banks will have to assess, taking into account the payment capacity of the borrower and how long his payment capacity is lasting. It is something which he has to also, the banks have to take into account, take into consideration the age factor. You know, it will vary from individual to individual, the age factor, the payment capacity. And also it is necessary that, to avoid unduly long elongation, which sometimes may going forward camouflage an underlying stress in a particular loan. So therefore, the extension of tenor has to be for a reasonable period.
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Nirmala